I'm gonna pounce on you straight away. Deep, passionate French kissing. Feel my breasts push up against his chest. Jade Blair here, your kind of worker, online and in person, and today we're talking about what actually happens in a booking. Because yeah, you're gonna fuck, but how do you get up to that point? So many first-time clients get so nervous and overwhelmed about how do you transition from talking about the money and just about your day to getting down and dirty within the time frame. And there's so much etiquette that goes into seeing a worker that a lot of people don't talk about, and unfortunately new clients get it wrong quite often. Most of this applies to in-call, so that is where the worker hosts and the client comes to the worker. It might be a little bit of a different progression if the worker is going to the client's location. It is important to mention though, not every escort is the same. So every escort is going to run their booking the way that they want. Okay, so the client knocks on the door. This for me is the time that the booking starts. That second that I open the door, that is when their paid time starts. And generally speaking, most escorts are the same, but some run it slightly different. The worker is most likely fully dressed in something that's quite pleasing. It's quite rare that we open the door in lingerie, a gown, or completely nude. Unlike what the media says, we value discretion too, and no neighbor needs to understand or see what's going on. They'll most likely have a little peek out at you to make sure you're the person that they're intending to see and that you don't have any obvious signs of intoxication or weapons before they actually open the door and let you in. Once they let you in, typically I'll make a little bit of small talk. So I'll be like, hi, how are you? Come in, how's your day been? There's a couple reasons why we make this small talk. One, it's to make us both feel a little bit more at ease. The second reason is we're trying to assess you. We're trying to make sure that you don't have any obvious signs of a cold or a flu or conjunctivitis or nits, things that we can see just by having a chat with you. We're also trying to match your behavior and get a bit of a feel of you. Are you super energetic or are you laid back? We're going to try and match your energy so that you can have the best experience possible that's individualized and tailored specifically for you. But to do that, we need to have a 2, 3, 5 minute chat with you first. Then I'm gonna ask for the money. Now some escorts will definitely ask for this second you walk in the door. I usually like to have a 1 or 2 minute chat first. It is normal and completely standard in this industry to give the money up front. Now in Australia where I work, what I do is legal. So I'll literally just say, hey, did you have the $700? They will literally just hand me the cash. In other areas, it might be a little bit different. They might ask you for your donation or to give the roses or your gift for them. Did you bring along your gift? This is code for give me the money. They don't want to say it out loud in case you're a cop. Some workers in illegal places will give very specific instructions on where you're supposed to leave the money, so they won't ask for it at all. Make sure you follow these instructions, and you can make a bit of an obvious show of putting the money where they've asked you to put it. You do not need to hide the fact that you are paying for this service. That is what you're doing. It is okay. There's nothing shameful about it. A lot of clients feel really flustered and uncomfortable around the money bit, like we should be pretending we're not here because it is this transaction and you are purchasing a service. You don't need to be weird about it. Just hand it over. That's, it is what it is. You don't get weird about it when you're at the hairdressers or the dentist. Now, if the worker hasn't asked you for the money or hasn't given you any direction on where to leave the money, literally just make sure that you take on responsibility to give it to them up front. Because it could have slipped the worker's mind, which yes, it should be their responsibility to make sure that they get payment, but I can guarantee they're probably gonna remember halfway through the booking and suddenly get really anxious or nervous that they might not get payment or might not get full payment at the conclusion of the booking. And that's just not gonna be a good experience. So yes, it's wrong and the escort should be on top of things, but if they have made a mistake, literally just be like, oh, this is for you, and give them the money. In some countries and areas, it is more appropriate to put it in an envelope or a card. If you feel a little bit awkward about physically handing them cash, feel welcome to pop it in a little card if you'd like. Don't get offended if the worker decides to count it in front of you. It's becoming more and more standard for us to do this because the last thing we want is to go away, count the money, find that it's short, go back to tell you it's short, and you accuse us of basically stealing some of it while we were out of your site. So that's why a lot of workers count it in front of you. And I have had quite a few clients accidentally be $50 short, and it actually wasn't their fault. They weren't trying to short me. They had just counted the money wrong. So just because they're counting the money doesn't necessarily mean they're accusing you of theft. It just is like any other transaction. When you buy your groceries, they count the money. It's the same thing. Once the money is out of the way, the worker's going to try and escort you into the bathroom to take a shower, most likely. It is very standard for all clients to take a shower at the beginning of the booking, and yes, 9 times out of 10, it is part of your purchase time. I'm pouncing on them. The worker will escort you there. They will hopefully show you, this is the soap you can use, this is the towel, this is the mouthwash. I get that you're super nervous, but please try to pay attention to their directions. And if you didn't catch it all, just be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Could you just repeat that for me? The amount of times I've had guys walk out and use a hand towel instead of the actual towel I've laid out and told them to use is astounding. And often if the worker is on tour and not like at home where they can just grab a fresh towel, it means they and all their other clients don't get to dry their hands for the rest of the day because they can't use that towel once you've used it, right? Please be a little bit considerate. It's like if you go to your friend's house, you're not going to use their towel or their hand towel to wipe your butt. It's the same thing. So you're gonna have a shower, you're probably gonna use some mouthwash and deodorant, and you're going to dry yourself off. It's totally up to you what you'd like to do next. If you'd like to come out in a towel, maybe they've supplied a robe for you, or if you'd like to get redressed completely or just pop on some underwear. I will say, if you would feel more comfortable coming out in your underwear or your clothes, I would highly suggest bringing along new fresh clothes to wear. I've had a lot of tradies who have had like a big 8-hour day at work. They've been sweating in the sun. They've had this beautiful, nice, fresh shower, and then they've gone and put on their dirty jocks again, and it's really yucky and just not the nicest, sexiest thing. So try and plan ahead if that's something you'd like, but a lot of clients, in my experience, just come out nude. I want to use as much time of that booking as I can for the like real fun stuff. So I'm going to pounce on you straight away. Personal favorite thing is kissing. So as long as my client is okay with it, I am going to kiss him until both of our jaws are aching with passion. Deep, passionate French kissing. I'm going to rub my hands all over his body and his hair, give him a nice little soldier massage, and really like pull us close together so he can feel the heat and feel my breasts push up against his chest. Slowly, I'm going to start suggesting that we move closer and closer towards the bed if we're not already there, and slowly start suggesting to take my clothes off. Now, it's totally okay. If you want to progress things quicker, you can just say that. Be like, hey, I would really love you to take your dress off right now. I think you'd be gorgeous. Or I really want to kiss you right now. If your work is not moving fast enough for you, there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. It's sexy as hell to hear how much someone wants to kiss you or see you naked. Massive ego boost. Now, after we've had our lovely makeup session and we're both fully unclothed and lying down on the bed, it will obviously change booking to booking. But normally something will happen around this kind of way. We might start kissing each other's body. I love to give a lot of attention to my clients, but I totally recognize that not every client wants to focus on them. They want to focus on me. So I'm going to play by their body language. But if they want me to focus on them, I'm so happy to do so. I'll kiss up and down their body, just teasing, getting closer and closer to the place that they want me to be. And after some time, once they're really riled up, I'll go and grab a condom and I'll pop it on with my mouth. And that's why you see a pro. What you're probably saying is, wow, this has progressed really fast. In other videos, you've always mentioned doing a visual check of the client to see if they have any STIs. And don't worry, I've already done it. When I'm doing these kind of like kisses around the groin kind of area, I'll probably be fondling, playing with, looking to see if I can see anything that is amiss. And if it is, we'll stop the booking there. But in my experience as an independent worker, I haven't had any issues. So even if you think that your worker is not doing a visual inspection of your body to see if you have anything that could potentially be transmissible or an open kind of wound or nick or cut, you're wrong. They definitely are. They're just very good at their job and very subtle about it. Once the condom's on, I still like to do a little bit of foreplay and really build up that anticipation because it's going to make that orgasm so much better. If the client likes it, I love to play with their balls, licking them, sucking them. It is just, I love watching their hands just clench into the sheets and them trying to push their hips up to get a little bit more friction. And then when they're really ready for it, that's when I'm going to start sucking on them. I'll have to read my client's body language to see how long they want oral for. Some people really love oral and will kind of bust straight away. And some are totally happy to do that. And that's so cool with me. But most guys kind of want to enjoy the oral, but they also want to get onto some more intense things. So I'll make sure I stop before anything gets too heavy. At that point, I'll usually roll over and open my legs and say, what would you like to do next? How would you like me? And a lot of escorts are kind of like this because we don't want to demand or kind of even ask you to go down on us. Not every escort is like this, but in my experience, a lot of us are. There are a lot of guys out there who, when they see an escort, they're there for their pleasure, and I don't blame them. It's so fun to have a session that's all about you and what you want to do. So they're not really interested on going down on a woman. But others, that's what they want to spend the entire time on. So by rolling over, opening my legs and being like, what would you like to do next? It's totally up to the guy whether they like to go straight to V-Town or if they want to becoming one in the biblical way. Now, I'm pretty sure I can leave it up to your imagination on where things progress from there. Once we've kind of had a little bit of a relax and maybe some baby wipes, some tissues to clean up, had some water, I'll start asking them some questions. Very neutral things like their hobbies, how their day's been, any plans for the weekend. I might offer them a massage and have a little bit of a cuddle. Kind of social aspect is a massive part that a lot of people don't realize happens in bookings and is very normal and common to have a little bit of downtime and a little bit of socializing. Sometimes it's some of the best parts of the booking because once you've gotten naked, done the deed and had some orgasms, the endorphins are flowing. The conversation is amazing. You get past a lot of that small talk and start actually getting into the nitty gritty. Even if you prompt with like basic conversations, like what are your hobbies? I've learned some really cool stuff about such niche interests because clients have felt so open and welcoming to sharing. I will always let my clients know, tell me when you're ready for round 2. The difficult thing as an escort is we know that a lot of guys have a lot of their confidence based on their kind of stamina and endurance. So we don't want to be like, okay, let's go again. And you be like, oh, I can't, and feel really bad. Not that you should at all. And I've made a lot of videos about this. It doesn't make you a failing as a man if you can't go twice in an hour or 2 hours or whatever it may be. So a lot of escorts aren't going to initiate round 2 for fear of offending you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not happy to go for round 2. So it is really important as a client that you also take some responsibility for making sure that you communicate your wants and desires for the booking. If you want to go twice, tell the worker. And it might even be something you want to tell the worker towards the beginning of the booking so the worker can make sure that you have enough time to go twice. The amount of times I've had a client who I've said, let me know when you're ready for round 2, and then we start cuddling and chatting, and then it literally gets to the last 5 minutes and I'm wrapping up the booking and they're like, can we go again? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, there's no time. And they get disappointed and I'm like, I just wish you had told me earlier so I would have known to initiate much sooner. Now, if you do want to go again and you need to initiate, literally just say, I'd really love to kiss you now. I'd really love to spend some more time with you, if you know what I mean. Do we have any time left? You can absolutely just outright ask. It is not offensive. It is not blunt. I mean, you probably don't want to be like, turn over, I'm going to fuck you again. And then we do it all over again. Once it's getting time to leave, workers will have different ways of knowing this. Personally, I use a playlist and I know when a certain song comes on, I've got 10 minutes, 5 minutes, X amount of time left of the booking. So your worker's gonna start trying to make impressions that it's time to get up and go. And this can be through a lot of ways. A lot will literally just get up off the bed and start putting on a robe. A lot will offer you a shower. A lot will be like, I'm so glad I had such a really great time today. I hope you have a really great trip home. And start kind of suggesting that you leave either through their body language or through their words. It's really important that you as a client recognize that you have purchased a set amount of time, and when that time is coming to a close, you need to leave. And your leaving is part of that time. So if you need to have a shower, get dressed, put your shoes on, you want to have a little bit of a chat, thank you for your time. It's lovely seeing you, a little hug and a kiss and a wave goodbye. That is part of your time. Your booked time is the second that door opens, that front door, to the second it closes. Some workers, like I said, will be different, but the vast majority are like this. So make sure you're looking out for these signals. And if you're not sure, you can literally say, oh, I'm so sorry, is our time up? Should I start getting ready to leave? If you're not sure, that is so fine and so fair. Now, as you head on out, make sure that you are still being respectful and discreet. Don't go telling people in the lobby that you just had the best booking with a sex worker or hanging around, being creepy. Just like you would any other business, pack up your things, thank them for their time, and leave, and that's it. But I hope this gave you a little bit more understanding on what actually goes down in the bedroom with a worker. Do you have any questions? Let me know.